Okay, so I welcome you all to our second coaching call of PgMP, and I think that all of us benefit from the last call. So, keeping the same ground rules, if anyone has any questions, any queries, then we will take at the end of the question. So, let's start with today's call. So, everyone can see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so let's start.
This is my first call. I'm supposed to type the answer in?
No, you just go through your answers, and then once the timer is finished, then you can just type in the chat box during this conversation and we will discuss the correct answer.
Okay, thanks, Abdul.
Okay, so see. Okay, so the question is, within the context, what can you recommend to stakeholders on how to handle this situation in the future? So it means that from the context of the question, something has occurred, but there was something not correct that was practiced, and now he's asking for our recommendation for the future things. So we can go through the answer. As a program manager, you found that you have occurred an unexpected risk. The risk response team was assigned immediately by the stakeholders, but after analysis, it was found that it is a very low risk and can be ignored. Within this context, what can you recommend to the stakeholders? So number one is accept the risk. Is it a option, yes or no?
Potentially, yes.
Yes, because if you go to the risk management plan, we can either accept the risk, it can be mitigated, it can be reduced, or it can be ignored. So this is option from the risk point of view. Ignore every risk. This is not an option to be considered, because if something is occurred, you have to make a response. Then it is a second thing whether you accept it or you reject it, but you cannot ignore it. Okay. Check the risk severity matrix. Yes, this looks correct, because we have to gauge every risk that is occurring. How much response is required to be given to that particular risk. Ask for expert opinion. Yes, this is also correct, but this is a very general answer. So in this case, the correct answer is C, because what was the problem here, that as soon as the risk occurred, we went for the risk response. We didn't did the analysis. So everything, as a general principle, also first thing is to, even if you are identifying the stakeholders, I can mix or interrelate with this thing. First you identify the stakeholders, then you analyze the stakeholders, and then you make a stakeholder engagement or management plan. Okay, same is the sequence in the risk. First step is to make risk identification. Then after identifying the risk, we write in the risk register, then we analyze the risk, and then we go for the risk response plan. Okay, so in this case, the first thing is to check the risk severity matrix.
So, Abdul, in the question itself, it says it is a very low risk and can be ignored.
Yes.
Why would the word ignored be used in the question?
And can be it, because the risk and probability. So actually he's trying to say about the impact and the probability, and can be ignored means the probability is very less. You know, the risk is actually probability into impact. So the point of,
yeah.
So instead of saying the probability is very less, we wrote here it can be ignored. So this is our indirect sentence, because if we would have written that it can be, the probability is very less, it means that the risk occurrence is very less. This is the same thing.
Okay.
Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. 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 So now in this question, there are two important things to consider. The first thing is that we should know what is a business value. So one question is that which of the following is considered as intangible business value. So tangible business value is something that can be easily quantified, whereas intangible business value is that which cannot be quantified but it exists. Okay. So this is the first thing that can come in the exam, that he can ask you a simple definition also. What is a business value? It is a sum of only intangible benefits, intangible and tangible benefits, like this. Okay. So Mr. Gulzar, in option number B, which is not an intangible benefit?
Facilities are intangible benefits.
Are facilities are tangible benefits?
Tangible, yeah, they are not intangible. Yes, sir.
Okay, correct. Irfan Saab, option C, which one is not, which one is a tangible benefit in option C? You are muted.
Tools.
Yes. Option number D, Ajay, what is tangible benefit?
I would say utilities and fixtures. I'm not exactly sure what fixtures means in this one, but I don't imagine it to be intangible.
Yes, fixtures and utilities. Utilities are also something which is quantifiable, which is tangible. Okay. If Garima, if you look into option A, what is goodwill? Why it is intangible?
Goodwill, maybe we can say positive outcomes, or
Because
I'm not
goodwill,
getting exactly.
yeah, because the why we say it's not, it's intangible, because goodwill can be different for you and different for me. Okay. Maybe for someone, if you're looking at a good cricketer, his goodwill or his is as particular range. There is no specific limit for that. Brand recognition is also intangible. You cannot fully quantify it. Public benefits, maybe I do something good for this PgMP students, it is a public benefit what we are doing, but for other things it's not important. Okay. And trademark is also intangible benefit. So this type of question will come in the exam, not harder, not, it will not be harder than this, because here I have put lot of tricky things. Okay, I just put one tangible thing, but in the exam it will be an easy question, but just to make sure that in this question I try to cover around 8 or 10 terms. Okay, so that is a key point. And second key point is that never rush too easily to the question. because once you see A is okay, but if you go down, then C is repeating in the same sequence, right? Goodwill, brand recognition, then you have to be very careful in selecting the answer. So that was the intent of this question, to first see carefully all the questions that answers and don't mix with other things. Is it clear?
What I find valuable, if I can share, is in a question like this, the process of elimination works better. So if you go one by one and one doesn't mix, that's not your answer.
Yes, that is also a very good finding. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, question number 8. Okay, D, C, B. So this is a tough question. Everybody has a different answer. Okay, so here what is the key point? That something, and a new RP system is being delivered by the organization in all its branch offices across the world. The CTO of the company requests an auditor to validate the compliance of the system with the new regulations. This is not part of the existing program. So what should be your action as a program manager to this request? Okay. Option A, discuss with the CTO to stop the audit as it is out of the program roadmap. This we cannot do because as a program manager, we don't have the authority or that we go against the company policies, because CTO is at the as you can consider as a program steering committee or person who is above us. Okay, so if he has asked or request something, we should do the analysis of that request rather than rejecting that request. Okay, so in that case, option number A is eliminated. Option number B, analyze and assess the impact of the audit before doing any action. This seems to be a correct answer, because whatever is a thing, as we said before, we have to analyze and assess what would be the outcomes or what would be the impact of this thing on our work. Number C, update the issue register. So who is saying C? Hershey. Why you said C? What is an issue?
Yeah, the reason why I said C was because it's out of scope item. I believe it's important for us to register it first before we deep dive into analyzing or assessing any work or any remediation plan that needs to be done. How do we manage a change request?
Okay, but issue is something which has already occurred or which is about to occur. What is an issue?
Was that a question, or I'm sorry?
I'm just clarifying, because here we said update the issue register, not the risk register. So issue is something which has occurred. But in this case, the CTO requests an independent auditor, means he has given the proposal that this should, I have invited somebody to do it, but it has not actually occurred. So this cannot be an issue. Okay.
Just to add to that, Hershey, the way I saw it, it's a additional validation that it meets the regulation. It's not something that, hey, it has missed the validation or the regulation, the compliance parameters, and we need to fix it. So I read it in a way that, hey, we need to do an independent validation of the compliance, so there is no issues afterwards. So that's when I thought it's not an issue right now, so it shouldn't go to an issue register, because we're just doing a secondary check.
Yes. And Irfan, yes, your question.
I think this is wrong about issue registered. Issue log is correct. So I eliminate this option, not issue register, issue log.
Issue log, issue is the same thing, but the key point is also that, as Ajay also said, and also the second thing that I is told, that this is still not occurred. So if I were written, I put in the risk register,
Yes.
then I will analyze. So it means first I identified the risk and then we access the risks. Okay. Option number D.
Yes. Just to eliminate the option, I use the. I also know this should not be issue, but just to eliminate the option, I use that it is wrong. So eliminate it.
Okay, good. Option number D.
That was a good catch, Irfan. That was a tricky one too. So
Analyze and assess the impact of that audit and the potential remediation on the program. So Ajay, why you selected the second line also in this? What is the first step?
when I thought of it, I thought it seemed like a complete answer.
Okay.
That you analyze and assess, and then you have an action plan.
Okay.
Right? So to me, at that time, where like it seemed like a full answer, like it covers the B, which I think is correct. Also, it says, whatever the potential remediation is, put that into effect. So
Okay,
I
good.
chose.
So also, yes, this is also one understanding, but on the other side, we have to understand in these tricky questions is that first we have to go step by step. Complete answer comes in a particular stage when other questions are very much clear. But in this question, first he has requested only, okay, and we don't know whether we have to do something or not. And as we saw in the previous question, if we already start to do the potential remediation on the program, it means we are going to do the mitigation plans. So we are going analyzing, assessing, and also we are in the first step, we are going for the remediation plan also. So maybe after analyzing impact, we find that this is not a severe impact. It will not impact us anything. So in that case, only we limit our answer to option number B in this case, before doing any action.
Now, potential remediation could be anything. It could be just put it on a watch list.
Yes, yes. In that case, you are right. But from the exam point of view, surely you will not get so much detailed or complex answers. This is the first thing I'm saying. But just to make it more tricky and to make it more discussable, I put this intentionally. Okay, so in that case, we just have to consider first step is just to, in any case, even if it is a stakeholder, it is risk, anything. First step is identification. Okay. Second step is to analyze and assess the impact. And once analyzing, we see that this is something which needs our attention or which could be a potential harm to our program, or it can impact our outputs. Then we go for the potential remediation action or we do the next step. So we consider this in such a sequence or hierarchical way.
Okay.
Gulzar Sahib is clear?
Not yet, sir. I am still confused. B is right or B is right?
B is right. B.
But why not, sir? If we do only impact analysis and assessment, and the next step we are not doing, then what's the use of analysis?
No, but he is saying,
if we stop.
no, he says analyze and assess the impact of the audit before doing any action. Means before going to the mitigation plan or before going for any remedial actions to be planned, first we have to analyze and assess the impact. If the impact is very less, then we don't need to do anything. Like in the previous question, we did not did the analysis and impact, and directly we made a stakeholder, deputed a team to make a lot of work on that, and at the end we found that it was not worth, So that's why he said before doing any action. Here action means doing any real impact, means making a potential plans, mitigation plan, only do the analyze and assess the impact of that audit.
Okay, thank you, sir. Got it.
Clear to everyone? Because this is a tricky question, and this type of English language you will get in the exam. Okay. Question number 9. C. Okay. What should the program manager do before executing the closure activity? So this is coming. This is a very important question, because when you will be doing the real mocks, who have already started, you will see a lot of things in which he is trying to confuse you between completion of the delivery phase, starting the closing activities, right? So that in that case, whenever you are going to release your resources, you are going to do any of the closure activity, the first step is to get approval from the program governance committee or whoever is a steering committee. Okay. So document the lessons learned activities and share it with the team member. Is it, Gulzar Sahab, is it a part of closure activity? Yes or no? Document the lesson learned.
Documenting the lesson learned is part of closure activity, sir.
Good. Close the program management information system. Ajay, is it a part of closure activity?
Yeah, it is.
Yes. Obtain approval from the program governance committee to initiate program closure activities. Farhan Saab, is it a part of closure activity?
Actually, yes. Before going for the closure, permission needs to be taken from the governance board.
Right. So actually, this is not itself a part of closure activity, but it is a prerequisite.
Right.
I can say in this
Yes.
way. Okay.
Yes.
And last, option number D.
Actually, option number D is itself is a part of the closure activity where you are
Good.
writing the program report.
Yes. So in that case, if you see option number A, B, and D are itself part of the closure activities that are to be done once we are in the closure phase. Okay.
Yeah.
And option number C is a certain activity that we will do before going into the closure phase. Okay. So here what does the question says? The question is asking you, what should the program manager do before executing this closure activity? So in this case, the correct answer is C. Clear to everyone? So in the exam,
Yes,
just keep in mind, and another keyword is that once you are really in the closure phase, then you have to see, then surely he will tell you that, for example, we have closed the program management information system. Okay. And now I have to submit the program final report to the stakeholders or to the team members. Okay. So what activity should we do? Something like that. So in that case, we have to document the lesson learned. You understand? So this we have to see. Yes, Mr. Hamid.
Yes, sir. A quick question for you. In the previous question where you talked about the risk activity. So in that scenario, did the program manager, did he have to take permission from the governors committee to, because we did analyze and assess the impact, but
Yeah.
did he have to take permission or some kind of to do the remediation process initiation? So, or was that not part of the question?
No, but later on we will do a lot of things after analyzing and assess the impact. If the impact will be of higher value, then surely we have to make and go for the next step, potential remediation. Maybe we have to bring a special subject matter experts or like that, but that comes later on.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes, Garima.
Cool.
Yeah, I have one question. Like, for example, in this question, it was already mentioned that we have received the approval from governance committee. So next step will be like what? It will be like we have to prepare a final report, like similar to PMP, or there'll be any change?
Sorry, if the project is already approved.
Yes, because in like as per last like what I have learned, so once we get the approval, we used to prepare the final report, then we'll take the approval from sponsor, then
Yes.
lesson learned, then we release. So it'll process flow will be same, or is there'll be any change?
No, same thing. Submitting the program final report includes everything. It includes a lesson learned. It includes all your documentation. It includes everything what was done. So this will be the last step. So I was just
Okay,
making
and
the yes, please continue.
yes, go ahead, go ahead.
I was just saying that if in case he asks you the question, that you are in the closure phase, and now it is the time to submit the final report to the stakeholders. Okay, and you have
Hmm.
already done close the PMIS. So what step is remaining, or what has to be done? So that in that case, I told you that then we will have to do the lesson learned activities to incorporate
Okay.
in the final report. There is only one scenario that could be asked in the exam.
Okay, and like just to brief out what we do in step B, close the PMIS, like it's kind of a lesson learned only. What we do
No,
exactly?
it's a basically documentation system. Okay, it means that whatever, like a server, you can say in our language, in our offices, we have a common server in which we are uploading all our documents. So that is just
Hmm.
information system. It's a technical word which is used in the program management in this course.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Yes, Mr. Irfan. Irfan sir.
Report, then lesson learned, then archive information. Am I correct for this sequence?
Sorry, please repeat the question.
Can you correct me? My sequence: first final report, then lesson learned, and last one archive information. Am I correct for this sequence?
No,
Closure.
the submission of the program final report is at the end, because this final report contains everything. So you cannot close the final, you cannot submit the final report and then make the lesson learned, because lesson learned is also part of the final report.
So we can see for lesson learned. Can we make sequence? Last activity is archive information. Am
Yes.
I right?
Yes, this is correct. Archiving information means making the final report to the stakeholders. That is the final thing. When you close everything, because later on I cannot add anything in that.
So sequence is first lesson learned, then final report, then archive.
Yes, like that.
Okay, thank you.
Abdul, the very first one says document. Sorry, if you can go
Yes.
back.
Yes. Yeah.
Document lesson learned activities. That happens throughout the project.
Yes, but that happens throughout the project. But like if you have retrospectives, then we can have a hybrid model. In that case, we are doing in every retrospective meeting or sprint meeting also. But if it is a predictive life cycle, then document lesson learned are at the end of the project. But here, as we are talking about the program, and program will have multiple components and multiple projects under it. So each project will contribute to the lesson learned. And if you're talking about the program domain, then for the complete program, once it will be closed, then we have to compile all the lesson learned. So that here he's talking about that program complete.
Okay, so this is more so of a summary and repository of the lesson learned.
Yes.
Throughout the program and components, not just document what you have learned.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Last question. Okay, only one answer in this question. Is it tough?
I would say so.
Yes, because I tried to cover 2 or 3 topics in this question. So okay, we can go through this question, then I will give you the background. The executive team of the bank attended PMI seminar in New York. Later, they found that you have PMI certification. This is 2 lines, is just a story. Okay. After meeting with you, they assigned you the task to make sure that every program they set up must support their organization's strategic goals. How will it affect GS Bank? So this question is coming from the topic of strategy management. That is the first domain of the program management. Is it clear? So that is the first thing. That is the first thing we have to see. We are not in benefits domain. We are not in stakeholder engagement. We are directly in the strategic management. Okay. So, and the key word here is that every program must support their organizational goals. So how it will affect? Number one, outputs and outcomes are expected to support their organization strategy. This can be the right answer because outputs and outcomes are the end results or the output of the program. The number B, organization strategy is a result of its strategic planning. Is it right or wrong? Actually, we make a strategic plan for our organization strategy. First, we do the planning, how I will plan to achieve my strategy. Then I plan the things, what will be the steps I will be doing in these activities. So this is not correct. This is opposite written here. Number C, the organization.
Again, sir. How, sir? How it is wrong? Because the question is saying how it will affect the GS Bank, means how it will affect the organization.
But here, okay, I will go in option C, then I come back. Okay. Option C states organization strategy affects how its vision will be achieved. Gulzar, I will come back to option B. I will explain in option C, then I come back to option B. The organization strategy affects how its vision will be achieved. Gulzar sahab, is it correct or wrong? Option C.
For C, sir, if it would be mission, then I will be agreeing with it. For the vision, I don't think that was strategy. Strategy can affect mission and vision both. But I think first it affects the mission and then overall vision.
Right, sir. Correct. In option B, now you say, what is not clear?
Actually, I am confused with B because I have selected B. The organization strategy is a result of strategic planning because we are talking about that, about the organization, GS Bank itself. Yes. So organization strategy will surely come from the organization strategic planning. That's why I have selected B. No. How it is going to be wrong, I could not get it.
Yes, because strategic planning we do not to make the organization strategy. So this answer is saying that strategic planning gives us organization strategy, which is not correct. Based on our organization strategy, what is our goals, what is our strategic goals, we do the planning for it. Is going in this direction, not on the opposite direction.
Can you tell me, sir, that how the organization strategy itself is made, sir? How the organization makes its strategy?
Yes, this will come from the vision. Okay, how we are going to achieve that strategy, what is our link with the strategic goals. Okay, and based on this strategy, the only incorrect is a result. It means that strategic planning will